All right, awesome. I'm just waiting for some people to get on here. Hopefully, Lucian and some other people. All right, let's see who's going to get on here. It's obviously me being shown right now, so. Hey. Oh, trying to type. Okay, so I'm going to start this awesome story. So the way this story was written, it didn't really explain much of anything about how heaven punished the world, basically. But Olodumare, which is God the Creator, um, I believe he put too much water and rain on Earth or something like that. So I was kind of paraphrasing and quoting right here. So the Orisha and the kingdom formed a committee where they would send a message to Olodumare by birds. They used to have two hummingbirds first, but because they were so small, they could not get high enough and the winds impeded their flight. The mockingbird went next. The mockingbird, so excited to take this message, began to fly as high as he could, till he became overly exhausted and dropped from the skies. The Orisha said that Oya would go since she was the heir, and they were confident she would reach Lodimar. Oya started her mission the next morning. She thought if she could reach their father with the message that all would be forgiven for Oba and Ogun. She flew high for several hours and began to become exhausted herself. When the Orisha saw her return, they thought all was lost. They had no hopes for Lodimar to hear their petitions. They all began to complain about their lives and the death that Elodumare had chosen for them when an ugly buzzard appeared and announced, I will take your message to Elodumare. Although their lives were in balance, they looked at each other and began to laugh at the ugly bird before them who had the audacity to say such a thing. Nobody that was in the reunion had noticed that Oshun was missing, the youngest of the Orisha, as her opinion was not of importance since she was the youngest of all the Orisha. The farthest thing from their minds was that the one speaking through the mouth of the buzzard was Oshun Yalorde, as one of her avatar paths, Ibu Kole. They were still asking themselves how it could be possible that this horrible creature who fed on one meat could dare to think so much. They ignored the fact that upon Oshun's birth, her father gave her the ability of taking possession of any body, whether animal or vegetable, and on this occasion she decided to possess the body of the Ibu Kole to show her siblings that they could be saved by whom they least expected. Ibu Kole, rottenness and sickness. This was the first path of the youngest of the Orisha, who at the same time was the greatest. The Orisha saw the birds speak with such it says the Orisha saw the birds spoke with such authority. The buzzard asked them what message they wanted to convey to the father of the Orisha. No one spoke. The buzzard looked at them and said, I see none of you is capable of taking the initiative to talk or send a message. That is fine. I will give my own message to Lodumare. Once again, the Orisha looked at one another and began to laugh at this bird. The buzzard paid no attention and began to flap its wings towards the heavens above, looking for the father of the Orisha. Flying without rest, she found herself without strength. To continue, she was saddened by the thought of being unsuccessful to complete her mission. Just as the buzzard was about to lose conscience, there just a bit ahead, she saw a light, a big, bright, beautiful light as she had never seen before. The closer the light, the more beautiful and brilliant it was. Okay, next part. Once the buzzard came close to the light, Ibu Kole started to feel different. She experienced a new sensation throughout her body. The light was Ara Onu, the house of God, the palace of Lodumare. This is the palace referred by the Yorubas when they speak of Olofi in all the stories. In Lukumi, Olofi means house of God. Ibukule's strength returned to her all at once. She was once again able to think clearly. She was seeing what no one had seen before. It was a marvelous experience. The light was the beginning of the infinite where everything began and ended. She soon noticed that she was at the center of the light. She did not need anyone to tell her that she was in the presence of Olodumare, the creator of the kingdom. She felt as if she was in the largest palace, more beautiful than any on earth. Ibu Kole felt as if the palace around her was alive, a life no one had ever seen before. Was able to talk and perceive everything around it. From here radiated all the energy that gave life to the earth and universe. There was so much coming to her mind as if in dreams, an illusion, but it was real because what came to her mind were transitions from Lodumare who spoke to her about words. Ibu Kole absorbed Lodumare's words in her mind like a sponge in water. She understood his anger towards his children. He, Lodumare, had created the city of Ife on earth for his children to his likeness. Through this city, he was in contact with the earth, and his children abused it. This place, his favorite place, as this was where he started the world. In this place, he had created the Arish so they could make the world evolve and live in peace. He had given them everything they needed for a pleasurable existence, but it had all been in vain. The laws that he had given first to Odua, then to Abatala, had been broken and violated by his children. Oshun noticed the sadness in the father's voice as he spoke of these things. He continued speaking, and she had not interrupted him, for she found it unwise. I thought they would live in peace if all I had given them, but I can see this is not the case. Now I think I did wrong giving man dada, which is brains, so they could reason. This was the worst thing I ever did, since they did not utilize data in the proper manner. They have done it all wrong. So now I'm going to the next part. Aw, good evening. Everything's going great. I'm just continuing this story. Christine. So, Oshun listened without a trace of murmur from her lips. Olodumare complaints were many as she listened with her head lowered. She had not dared speak or raise her head. She felt unworthy to look upon the father of the Orishas. She knew she who she was in front of, and she kept telling herself, I'm in front of the King of Kings. When he finished, he asked her, and you now, in my presence, why do you come here and intervene for them if the only thing they have done is laugh at you? Ibu Kole now seized the moment to speak. Baba me, Father, I am the most insignificant of all your creatures, but I love life and everything you gave created on earth. Everything is so beautiful. I came at the risk of trying to reach out to you and beg, for all the creatures of the world are not at fault for your children's actions. They want to live. They think that life, even if bitter and hard, is worth living. At this moment, the significance of the beauty of life is revealed. The creature, a buzzard that is regarded as the most despicable of all birds by the human race, was the one that taught the biggest lesson of life. It was Ibu Kole who taught us that life is worth living. Ibu Kole kept speaking on behalf of the girl with her head down in reverence. Me, I know your Omos, children, have not appreciated the gifts that you have given unto them, and do not remember you or anything you have done for them. This is why I come in their name to thank you and give you Mofori Ballet. Thanks and offerings from all, and for all I come to ask your clemency. Particularly, I would like to thank you for what you have given me in your kingdom. This is the reason I've traveled so far. I've done it not only for myself, but for all the Orishas. Ibu Kole went to tell Lodumare that this was not just for the Orisha, but for all the inhabitants of the earth, who have lived their lives according to the laws he mandated. Therefore, if the deluge continued, they would perish as well, together with the sinners of the planet. She begged him once more. A tear fell upon the cheek of Olodumare. Looking at the animal before him, he said, It is you that has come to beg for clemency for those who know only to say that you are repulsive. It should be clear that from now on, you, Ibu Kole, will be my messenger. You will be in charge of delivering my mandates to men on earth. They should respect you and admire you until the end of time. Those who can see there is something beautiful behind ugliness will be saved. they will be clean and pure of heart. Those who think I am not aware of everything that goes on will commit a grave error, as my sight is always on earth. Tell them you'll be a messenger from now on, that they will have to give you Mofori ballet, because you are my most loved creator. You have come where they have not been able to come. Starting today, the eldest will have to respect the youngest, and I am included in the respect owed to you. You should tell my children that your tenacity in trying to reach me has earned them a new opportunity, but that I expect them to do better in the future. Now go, my dear, go back to your world and carry my message to the people. The deluge will stop when you utter the last sentence I have told you to tell. It'll be a message told through your mouth. Ibu Kole flew on her way back to the kingdom. Her return trip was much easier, quicker, and her jubilation seemed much shorter. She entered the palace, and they were anxiously waiting on her. They were surprised, since it had been days and they feared she had been lost. But now the truth would be unveiled. Ibu Kole would show her true self, and she would tell the message of Olodumare to the kingdom. So the next one, Ibu Kole's return to the kingdom. Um, yeah, it's an awesome Pataki. It's one of my favorites, actually. It was an enormous surprise that when the buzzer returned, it made its entrance into the palace as they waited for her. She came in and stood in front of them, and within minutes she had transformed back into herself, into the beautiful woman she was. Now this surprise was even greater, and they were speechless. They could not believe that ugly bird that had come to tell them it would fly to the heavens with their message. In fact, it was a beautiful young Oshun. While she was transforming into herself, the deluge continued, but when she expressed the Creator's message, the rain had stopped. It was at this moment that they became aware of Oshun's grandeur, that they honored her as a great queen at that moment and for all times. Once the rain stopped, life in the kingdom went back to normal, with the exception that everyone knew Olodumare's warnings. Peace reigned over the kingdom. With the passing of time, the Orisha married among themselves. So yeah, that's basically the story, guys. Yeah, it's an incredible story. Very, very awesome. Actually, my path of Oshun I have is actually this Ibu Kole, which is known to be a witch, of course. There is a vulture. Um, it's an incredible Orisha to have, Oshun. Without Oshun, life is not worth living. Without Oshun, there's no self love or anything to do with love and admiration. Basically, like she teaches a lot about like self sacrifice and everything too. So that is what I can tell you about her and this story, right? So it's very, very important. So I'll be doing like some more stories as I've been going on throughout the weeks and stuff. I think this is a really good thing to start sharing with everybody, the Pataki of our tradition. Um, because a lot of people, some people think that it's not important to share the stories, but I think they all have a lot of wealth of ethics, morality, seeing the humanity that even the Orishas had their faults and stuff, and it helps you to understand like how sometimes we interact with people, whether it's good or bad, and yeah, so. Yeah, the Pataki are awesome. Actually, a deceased author who wrote a lot of stories and stuff, Lucian Ocheni Lele, wrote a lot of books on Pataki that I can tell you about. There was like one called, I think it's called Dilagoon Tales of the Natural World. And the other book is How the Sun Loved the Moon So Much, I think was the name of the title of the book. I might be off on some of the words and stuff. Exactly, yeah. Some of them are mortal and elevated to reach the stature, I think is the word you want to write. I think Ochosi was one of them, actually. I don't know about any others that were mortal that were given Orisha crowns, right? And I was going to get up with that. Yeah, and some of them were actually like naturalistic nature. Mortal to Orisha to coconut. Yeah, exactly. So Yeah, it's like amazing. I love the stories. I always want to learn more of the stories. I learn actually a lot of stories when it comes to people reading me when it comes to the religion, but that's kind of an expensive process to learn a story, But always when a situation happens that I need to know where I am on the spectrum of life and stuff and how to rebalance myself, it's worth the payment, to know that story. Oh man. But yeah, it's pretty good actually by the time I went live right now. So I'm very happy about that. I think I'm just gonna go off the live now since I told the story and everything like that. And if you guys want to leave any comments, any reviews, I'd really appreciate that. I'm just gonna go off now and I'm gonna start doing this wonderful little spiritual core investigation for somebody. So it's gonna be pretty fun. I like doing those actually a lot. So all right, I'm signing off, guys. See you next time.